I finally got access to the Wardogs beta, and after playing it for a few hours, I am confident that this game is going to be the next Helldivers 2. And I specifically mean that in one way, and that is, this game is going to blow up like Helldivers 2 did, and it's going to have a massive amount of people joining the game who are immediately going to say, I don't like this fantasy, I don't like how this game plays, I want you to change for me, and the devs won't do it. The devs for Wardogs seem pretty clear that they have a vision for what this game should be, and they are creating the game that they want to create. There's a lot of videos out there about how the game isn't the best looking because they don't want to make the best looking game. They want the game to be accessible and playable for everyone, and they want it to run smoothly when there's a lot of people on the map because there can be up to 300 people on the map at once, plus vehicles and everything else. And there's a lot of focus on the money-based gameplay. They've talked about the money-based gameplay a lot, and that's obviously like the big gimmick to the game is that you buy your loadout at the start with money you have, and you have to go out and earn more money by taking objectives or taking enemies out or different things like that. And I know some people are going to absolutely hate that. And there's a lot of downtime in the game. There's times where you might be dead for 1 or 2 minutes waiting for a revive because a firefight is still ongoing. There was a whole intro you just watched for over a minute where I just flew into the battlefield. It's not Call of Duty-esque. It's not a lot of the modern FPS shooters where you jump into the action, you've got maybe 0.2 seconds before you see someone, you're in a firefight, you either win the firefight and feel great, or you die and you're back in 0.01 seconds and you find someone in 0.05 seconds and the rushing continues. This is a slow, methodical game. It feels a lot like the old school, like, if you ever played the old Rainbow Six shooters, I'm talking old PS1s, where it was a very, very slow, methodical, tactical game, that's what I get the vibes from here. But everyone's going to see this, say, oh, this is Call of Duty, this is PUBG, this is Fortnite, and they're going to play it like that, and they're going to have a miserable time. And that's not just speculation. I literally saw this in the chat because there's like a global chat while you're playing. I saw so many people saying, hey, I'm so excited to be here in the beta, and 10 minutes later they're saying, this game sucks, I'm never coming back, it's so slow, no one's doing anything, I'm just walking around, and they quit. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. This game is going to sell 1 million copies. It's going to have an all-time peak of like 800,000 people on launch, and then within a month, the game's going to have maybe a quarter of that, and people are like, oh, the game's dying, the game fell off, the game's dying, when in reality it was all these Call of Duty and modern FPS people are going to be coming to the game, and they're going to find this isn't Call of Duty, they're going to hate it, they're going to ask for changes, the devs are going to say, no, that's not the game we want, and so they're going to leave. Helldivers 2 really made the phrase, a game for everyone is a game for no one, really popular, and I really hope the devs stick to their guns on this and say, this is the game that we want to make, this is the game for a very specific kind of person, and that kind of person is me. I am terrible at first-person shooters. I am the worst Call of Duty player, I don't have the reflexes for it, I'm awful at it. But this game lets me play how I like to play FPSs. I'm not out there shooting people. I could drop in with no weapon. In fact, this entire match you're watching here, I only ever take out one guy, and that was maybe an assist, not actually a shot. Instead, I spend the entire time reviving people, healing people, resupplying the base, flying helicopters for people to bring them to and fro the battlefield, pointing out enemies for other people to shoot, doing spotting, scoping work, and I love it. The fact that I can build a custom class for what I really want to do, which is healing and support, where I have the binoculars to point out, hey, artillery there, hey, sniper there, hey, people who can actually shoot, take that guy out there because I can't. I really enjoy playing support, and this game gives you all the tools to play support, but if you like the action, if you want to play assault, if you want to play a sniper, that's there for you too. And for all you streamers and clip farmers and challenge mode gamers, that's going to be here for certain. I already know there's going to be a million challenges like drop naked behind the enemy lines and you have to pick up your gear and scavenging off corpses to be able to continue to fight, which you can do. I love finding a body on the ground like, hey, there might be some better loot on here or some healing items for other people. Like, scavenging is legit useful, so I know there's going to be naked challenges, there's going to be $0 challenges where I can't spend any money until I've earned $1 million. There's going to be all sorts of clip farming and things like that, and I'm here for it. The community is going to go bonkers with it, and I love it. There was one point in the game where I wasn't even like playing the game. I almost feel like I bought a little Bobcat, which is a four-wheeler, and I was just driving around the map picking up supplies and bringing them back to the FOB so that other people can use those supplies to get vehicles to respawn and do things. It was still helping the war effort. It was still a valuable part of us winning the game, but I wasn't playing an FPS. I was playing a collectathon at that point. Now, I also want to point out, if you look in the top right, you can see I have $25,000, and this life I've already netted $2,000. I'm already in the positive. So I know one of the big worries that a lot of people are going to have is this idea of like, oh, well, if I'm not good at the game, I'm never going to have any money. I'm going to be running around with a pistol. It's going to be awful. No, earning money is fairly easy, but there is a high risk, high reward. You can see there I just lost all the loot that I had because I got shot. Now, luckily, my ally won that firefight and he brings me back up, so I don't actually lose that loot, but it's fairly easy to earn money, so I don't think you're ever going to run into an experience where you're like, I don't have any money, I can't buy anything, I can't have any fun, the game is bricked for me. Worst case scenario, you just sit at base for a little bit and you'll generate some money by doing some other tasks, which again, gives you options to play the game how you want to play the game, but don't worry too much about the money. If you're really worried about running out of money and not having fun, that is not a factor here at all, put it out of your mind. Now, the game is not perfect. This is a beta, so I expect some changes and some glitches to be fixed in a few things, so let me talk about the gripes in all fairness. Now, some of these gripes I also want to point out, these are personal things that I don't like. That doesn't mean other people don't like them, and I don't expect the devs to ever change some of these things, because again, they're making the game for them, not for me. Also, keep in mind this is only with a few hours in the game, so it's possible this is a low skill issue, and some of these things will feel better with a little bit more time in the game. The number one thing that feels a little clunky to me is the cash shop, and that's like a big part of the game, right? The big thing is you spawn with nothing, you go buy your things. Sometimes buying the things is a little clunky, like clicking on the items. There was a few times where I accidentally left the base with no ammo because I didn't understand. I clicked on the ammo, I clicked to buy the ammo, but I didn't actually buy the ammo. I don't know if that was a glitch. Again, I don't know if that's just me not experienced enough with the cash shop, but there were times where I left the base without the items that I wanted because the cash shop wasn't working as intuitively as I felt it would. I don't want the cash shop to go away, I just want it to be a little bit easier to navigate and to buy through. There are some physics that I don't like. When you're driving on some of the vehicles, it feels like you're driving on ice. When I was driving some of the SUV trucks, I kept like flipping them and it felt like that's not realistic. It felt a little floatier and icier than I felt like it should. Like, we're driving off-road, we're driving through mud and sticks, so it should handle poorly, but I felt like it was a little too exaggerated, so I'd like them to tighten that up a little bit. The weapon handling feels way different than most modern shooters. Like, again, trying to compare this to Call of Duty or Battlefield, like, your weapons feel way different. Shooting feels way less accurate. I don't know if that's trying to portray like maybe your characters aren't super elite god soldiers, so there's mistakes in the firing. Maybe it's just more realistic, but there were a few times where I was sniping and I was shooting at someone and I was like, I'm dead set, I'm hitting you dead on, you're within 100 meters, I'm scoped in on you, and the bullets just were not doing what I was asking them to do, and that was really frustrating. Again, I can't tell if that's just I'm bad at shooters and I really don't understand the gun physics, or if the gun physics aren't as locked in as you would say on like a modern FPS. I felt that. Again, I don't know if that's a skill issue or not, but I didn't like that. Now, I'm very thankful that there is a firing range that also has the vehicles attached to it, because flying helicopters is very, very hard, and if you jump into the helicopters in the middle of a match and try and fly for the first time, you are going to get flamed, and you are going to flame hard. And that is one thing I personally don't like about these games, and this is an argument I've had nonstop with people, like Call of Duty lobbies where people insist that they have the right to scream racial slurs at people, and that's just a part of the game, that's part of the fun of it. There's already some incredibly toxic people in the game, and I wish that wasn't the case, but that's just kind of the territory with FPSs, right? There's always going to be that guy who feels like calling people racial slurs is their God-given right, and that if someone makes a mistake, they need to be personally flamed and sent death threats, and like, that's a community issue. I think those people will be eventually kicked out of the community or ignored, but it's just a reality of these kinds of games, unfortunately. The last gripe I'm going to lay out, and I understand this isn't something that's going to change, is that it does feel pretty bad where, like, you die, you lose all your gear, you respawn, it takes you 2 or 3 minutes to get back in the action, you jump in a helicopter and the pilot you're flying with crashes the helicopter and everyone dies and you have to respawn and do it all again. This can mean 5-10 minutes out of action, especially if you had bad pilots or bad vehicles or things like that. It can feel really frustrating, especially if you're not as good at the game, where you spend all this time and all this money running back in, you instantly get sniped and you okay, I'm going to respawn, I'm going to run back out there, I get sniped again. That is 100% a skill issue. I'm pointing that out. I understand that that is the fault of the person doing it. I'm just saying I understand that that feels bad, and that can be something that's going to drive people away where I can't do anything. I just walk out, I die, I have to walk back. This is a walking simulator. I hate it. Again, I understand that's the point of the game. I understand that's a skill issue. I'm just pointing out that that's going to be a gripe that people are going to have, and that is not going to be something that changes. Now, despite all those minor things that I brought up, this game is fun. And when I mean and say fun, I am saying this is a game where as soon as I put it down, I immediately feel like, I kind of want to log back in and do one more match, right? That feeling of one more, just one more. That is a very rare feeling that I get from games in modern day. Like, a lot of modern games I'll play, I'm like, oh, that was fun, but like I can get up and go away and go do something else for a little bit. I can go do another hobby. Like, I'm not addicted. I'm not pulled back into it. This game is sucking me back in. It keeps saying, come back, earn a few more dollars, buy a few more things, come on, just one more round, and it feels so good. I feel like there's a lot of people who this is the game they have been waiting for. But I also, again, feel like there's a lot of people who are going to see this and say, finally, a new Call of Duty. They're going to jump into it and like, what is this? Now, something I haven't mentioned yet is the unlock system, and I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I kind of, a part of me thinks that a game like this, you could just have everything unlocked at the start because you're limited by your money. But I can also see, like, you want progression. There's armor you can't buy until you level up a little bit more. There's certain weapons you can't get until you invest in, like, recon skills or marksmanship skills or engineering skills. Like, that's pretty well established in modern games. That's just how it works. I do find it a little frustrating sometimes where it's like, well, I want to play a medic, so I want all my medic tools, but I haven't leveled my medic up enough to do it. That's one of those things where, like, a part of me is like, I understand that's how modern games work, that people want a sense of progression, but another part of me says, well, those top tier items are more expensive, so there's already like a limiting factor put into it, so why can't I just play with that if I can afford it, you know? But at the end of the day, I truly think Wardogs is going to be something special, and if the right people find the game and buy it and get into it, it is going to be awesome. I am a little worried that each match at its best needs 300 people because as games get less popular, as they age, you know, it's much harder to fill up a lobby of 300 people, but I truly think a lot of people are going to jump on this game and find something magical here. That was a really embarrassing shot, and this is like one of those things you need to learn. Like, this is a single shot rifle, and it doesn't, like, when I'm clicking to fire, it won't fire. You actually have to physically click the reload button to reload, and there you go. You saw it right on screen. That is the only time I hit another player this entire hour-long match. Which I guess I should also point out, the matches are like 1 to 2 hours long depending on how well people control objectives and fight back and forth, so do be prepared. This is a long haul, and that's again where you doing those other things really counts towards the win. Resupplying bases may not be the most exciting thing in the world, but that's what gets you back in the action, gets your team out there, and gets you objective points and gets you winning, right? So it might not be glamorous, but it is necessary. So everyone who enjoys different styles of FPS and doesn't just want to be assault, you're going to find so much to do in this game. The last thing I want to point out is this game is only going to be $40. It's not even going to be a full priced game. Now, a part of me wished the game was free, because obviously free is awesome, but I understand why the devs need to make their money back. But games, again, that need this many people to support it, obviously being free to play is going to encourage more people to be in the lobbies, and that would be a good way to fill up those lobbies, but I truly don't think that's going to be a problem at launch. I really think they're going to have a bolsterous amount of players enjoying the game. Like, when I logged on at 4 a.m. Pacific time, there was still 6 or 7 full lobbies, and this is during a closed beta that's invitational only, so I have no qualms with that. I think $40 is a steal for this game. They could easily charge $60 or $80, and I would still be satisfied with it, so get it at the discount. It's going to be excellent. I feel like everyone's going to be able to find something in this game they enjoy, unless you simply don't enjoy anything I've talked about at all. Alright, I've yapped for 15 minutes. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.